All right, we're going to do the rejection ladder. Now, if you don't know, I teach my men in my program, the Marriage Reset. My lords use a rejection ladder to know that obviously if you're getting rejected from sex, that you're going to have to work your way down the ladder, because when you are at the bottom rung of the rejection ladder, you can start to climb each rung of the ladder. And ideally, the idea is to create the connection emotionally between you and your wife, intimately among each step of the ladder. And that way we can get to where I call it the checkered flag, when you have the mad passion in your marriage. Why people stay together for the kids, and it's not what you think. Why men are not leading in their home.
I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn.
Not so obvious ways to get the sex back.
So when you dated your husband in the beginning, did you ever answer the door with your hair all crazy? We're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
Now, Kathryn, my wife, my sweet baby cakes, she doesn't even know what this is. She's heard me talk about it. Yeah. And so what I thought would be really, really fun today would be to take Kathryn through the rejection ladder, get her take on it. And here's why. If you don't know me, I am a Lord. I'm always rising up. That's not because I'm the Lord. Well, you call me Lord.
You're not the Lord.
The Lord. No, not the Lord. No. What I mean is, marriage lords are men who I believe are always rising up, who are always trying to be the best men, husband, father, and leader in life they can be, which means we're never done rising, which is kind of why I like the ladder. Everything in that I teach is going to be up a ladder, up a ladder, up a ladder, because we're always growing. Now, I want to make sure that I'm still teaching everything I can to my men. And so since Kathryn's got this beautiful program for women, the White Picket Fence Project, keeping families together, I have the Marriage Reset, getting men to show up, reset the passion, the fire, the intimacy. And of course, we can't do that if we're as abusive as I was or anywhere in between. And so, baby, will you please let me take you through my rejection ladder? And will you please tell me if I'm missing something so I can address if it needs to be on the ladder, or if I can tell you it's in my program and we can make sure that we have our bases covered.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this because, believe it or not, I have not seen Cass's program. So he's on version 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen probably 10% of the content that he's taught in all of the versions. And part of that is because I don't want to know the secrets. I think that a lot of it is mystery for me, what he teaches, what he does to make himself so sexy to me now, and all the changes that he made. I hear him coaching, and I've seen him filming some of the, the content for his courses, but I have never seen it. So I've heard about the rejection ladder. Really excited to go through it today.
All right, well, let's dive into it. So I'm going to start at the top. We're going to work our way down. Okay. So sex is the checkered flag. A lot of you are getting rejected by your partner, and I'm going to say partner here, guys, because a lot of women like this. I have a reel going crazy on TikTok right now. I think we're at 500,000 views, but TikTok can be a slower viral, and it's just going and going. It's been 30 or 40 days right now. And it talks about how, people got pissed off because I posted a reel. If your wife doesn't want sex, stop being a pervert, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, it's called the rejection ladder. Okay. If your wife's rejecting you for sex, go lower. So let's talk about it. So there's different kinds of sex first. Okay. So we have, actually, I would like to leave that. We have another podcast we're going to do on that, so stay tuned. But there's different types of sex, and it's all good. It means that you made it, okay? So when you are not having sex with your partner, then that means whether you're a man or a woman, that something is missing, okay? Meaning they don't want to have sex. So what I tell my guys to think about next is, does she ever initiate sex, right? Meaning it's kind of on the man a lot to initiate sex. Do you agree? Like, I remember one time you said, be a man, go get what you want. Because I was hiding, I was afraid.
Right.
This is when we're doing a lot better, by the way.
Yeah. That's a hard one for me. I think I can't generalize it. No, I can't.
No, you can't?
Say I don't agree. Yeah.
I would say that because of how many men that I've worked with and how many men comment with anger that their wife rejects them, right? Or is withholding, all these things. But how many women, because we have almost all women, it's like 85% women following across the platforms. There's not very many women saying the other way around. Like on that viral TikTok, what if it's the other way around would be the question from a woman. There's not nearly as many.
That I can agree with.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why I believe that it's kind of up to the men to initiate. So does your wife ever initiate it? There are times, we talked about the mint shirt. You know, I remember wearing that mint shirt. You're like, bedroom now, right? Like, so if your wife is into you and you're at the top of the ladder and it's working, your wife also wants to either initiate, have her fun, right? Or you want to connect. You want to be with me. And we can talk about man's needs and all this shit. Because I mean, I have a different sex drive than you. Most people have different sex drives. So there's some compromise there. But you want to connect, right? It's a big part of who you are with me and how happy we are. You want to be connected, right? So if she's not initiating, right, then you have to work lower. But before that,
Lower on the ladder.
lower on the ladder,
So
lower
are we
rungs.
so where are we on this? So we have a graphic that we're looking at. So we're at the top. We're on types.
That's right.
Now
Yeah.
we
so-
work lower. Now we're on her initiation.
Right. So you've got your different types of sex. So it could be crazy, could be quickies, could be committed, could be all these different things that we're going to get into another episode. But you're having passionate sex. Okay.
So that's when you're at the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
You're
You've made it. Okay. But if she's not, so then, if you're not, then what? So I say her initiation. Does she invite you? Does she want you? Lots of times you're on the couch and you're like, do you want to do, right? We have a saying that, I don't know if I should say it.
Let's not.
Let's not.
I don't know
Okay.
what it is that you're going to say right
You
now.
know
But let's just not. Let's just not. We'll talk about it
It's
later.
how you
Not
started
sure.
every time. So if she doesn't do that, then does she ask you?
Oh, I know the saying. Do not say. That.
Do not say. Do not. It's explicit rating on podcast, but we'll just in case kids. Anyway,
No, because it's private, not because there's kids. It's
that's true.
private. Some
Private.
things are private, guys.
Smart
We
enough.
love all of you guys, but we don't want you involved in every part of our lives. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't care as much.
I don't, but I support you.
I have a little bit
So-
more privacy.
All right, but then go lower. So before we're getting even lower on the rungs, in between the rungs, is your wife teasing you? Is there banter? Are you having a good time? Like if you guys watch our reels when we're interacting together, a lot of the times there's like a sexual innuendo, right? That's called teasing. That's fun. That's anticipation for the building. So if you don't have that, is she flirting with you? Is she just talking about, how sexy you look, right? By the way, men, we think sexy on a whole means that she wants to have sex. Kathryn taught me that's not real. Yeah.
No, it's not.
No. Yeah. You can actually say something about your partner, say you're sexy, but it doesn't mean
It doesn't mean that you
it.
want to have sex right now.
Right.
I remember actually, side note, I was in a lot of counseling in the first 6 years of our marriage. And I went to a sex counselor, a marriage and family therapist that specialized in sex and intimacy. And one of the things I brought up was my husband gets frustrated when I call him sexy because he says sexy means sex. And she was like, no, it doesn't. And I said, well, that's what I told him. And she said, well, tell him to look it up then. Like, if he wants to argue with you and be wrong, then he can have someone else tell him to be wrong, I guess. Like, I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she said, no, that's not what it means. So anyway.
That's a really good point, because just another side note off that is that the amount of men that I get, they tell me I'm being an asshole, and I'm like, get a dictionary out. That's why they're calling me an asshole. No, honestly, get a dictionary out. Like that, I've had to learn to do the same thing. So everything that I teach is all stuff that I've had to learn. So
like to look up the word asshole or what?
No, like actually simp is the number one. I'll say a man should look up what simp means.
Oh.
Right. But anyways, so if she's flirting with you, and it doesn't have to be all sexual, it can be just compliments, things like that. If that's not there, then you got to go lower. So what happens when you take your wife, right? That means literally take your wife, right? I want you, let's go. Okay.
Where is that on the rejection ladder? That's way down
Next,
here.
it's the next one down. Yeah, no, it's the next one, right? So if you're not initiating, then what happens when I initiate?
Oh, I thought you already moved down to the flirting sexual.
No, there's up here, because
Okay.
her flirts are different than his flirts,
Got it.
right? Okay.
Oh, that's her flirts. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
that's her initiation is her flirting, her banter.
right.
You have a lot of sexual innuendo. We have a lot of fun all the time, right? That's totally different than you accepting his.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Not
yeah,
his,
which is good.
mine. So
Yes.
so then if that's not there, you're going lower. So what happens when I just take you, babe, now, or pick you up? Let's go, right? What happens when you ask, lead, invite, right? When I would say the thing, on the couch, right? Okay.
The key phrase of the day that no one gets to know.
Nope, sorry. And what happens when I tease, I flirt, I do the non-sexual as well. Okay. Now, if that's not there, you go lower. And what is it like when you're touching? What is it like? So we're always touching. Kathryn's leg is on me right now. My arm is constantly touching her. She'll rub my back. She rubs my head, all these sorts of things. What is that like? Okay. And if that's not there.
So we're in flirting sexual right now, right?
That's right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the 4th rung down. We're actually exactly in the middle. 4
that's
down,
right.
4 up.
That's right. Now,
for all of you that need the visual.
That's right. Now, this is a blend, by the way. Okay. Because when you're flirting non-sexual and you're flirting sexual, men and women take it 2 different ways. Right. So if I put my hand on your back just to talk to you, for example, that's really for me. That's not for you. And that's not a sexual touch, but
it's loving touch.
Loving. But when I do, like, so every time we have a hug, my hands are right on your bum. I'm squeezing, and sometimes I'm doing other monkey type business.
A saying at the Wipe Defense Project that if your husband isn't touching your bum while he's hugging you, it's not actually a hug. I don't know what it is, but it's just not a hug.
That's right. And so
I thought it was just a him thing until I started coaching women, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's an every man thing.
A thing.
The hands, they just migrate down.
Mm-hmm. And so on the latter, I actually go sexual flirting and non-sexual flirting, but I think that this is, when I teach it, it's a real blend in between, right? Because it's going to depend where you're at when you read the room. It's going to depend where you're at with how things are going.
Well, and sex and love go together. So sexual flirting,
that's right.
There's going to be a loving undertone, but non-sexual flirting also is going to have a loving, connective undertone.
That's right. But if you're working your way up the ladder, you have to think about it like this. That right now I'm touching you like this, but there's, unless we're going to pause this and go have some fun right now, I'm not going to start turning this into sexual flirting.
Right.
Okay.
I think when you're looking at it from the top down, the sexual flirting and the non-sexual flirting can be more fluid. When you're looking at it from the bottom up, you need to have the non-sexual flirting before you can take that next step.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And if we showed you the visual, that's what's happened. The reason we're not, by the way, is because this is obviously a podcast as well. So now if we go lower, because you're not getting along with the touch and the flirting, that could be text, notes, the words you use, and of course the touch. Okay. Then we have to have what's real communication, conversations. What are they like? Can you talk about dreams and goals? Are the conversations like, we describe it like ping, 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 meaning you don't even really finish a topic. You move on to the next, like you're just having a blast. We were on a date last night and literally we were just like all over the place, right? And so that means you're getting along. It's really, the word is fun.
Yeah.
Right. If that's not there, are you even having good conversations? Like, can you talk, guys? And if that's not there, are you even listening? And are you validating the person? Right? Because that means that you're probably not able to have harder conversations. If that's not there, then you're still addressing some of the issues. And we're going to go to like safety. We're going to go to peace in the home. Okay. And if that's not there, then we're going to go to energy. And this is where I talk about a man should be a leader. Like, which again, we've addressed many times in this podcast that Kathryn and I balance each other out now. That's partnership, okay? But before that, you have to show up providing a safe environment. You have to be able to be exciting, fun, confident, even if your wife is having a bad day, and not take everything so personal, right? That's my rejection ladder. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think that was really amazingly. I'm so proud of you right now.
Thank you, baby.
Good job.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you want the rejection ladder, MorrowMarriage.com/rejection, and you have it for free. I think every man and woman should see this and apply it to where you're at, because you can easily think about where you're at and where you're going. And one final tip, which I tell you in the training anyways, you can't just stop the bottom rungs. Once you get somewhere, you must always maintain the bottom ones. Your goal is the next. So when you're having mad, passionate sex, a lot of men would back off, be comfortable and complacent. You still need to be responsible for every rung lower on the ladder. Fair? Kathryn's nodding her head.
Yes. Oh, yes. Listening. Sometimes I forget that it's a podcast. Yes. That's awesome. It's
all right.
Really good.
Thank you very much, guys. If you want more, MorrowMarriage.com. And listen, we're doing something totally cool now. Sliding scale business is awesome. And the only way we can disrupt divorce and actually help people all around the world. We're in 17 countries now. Super cool. We thought it was 14. Kathryn just identified it's 17. We can't do that. In a lot of countries, the economy is not the same. Even here in North America, the economy is tough. We've created a sliding scale. You must qualify. You must be approved. You must be a good fit for our program. But we're trying to make sure we can get our programs into the hands of people struggling. We teach health, wealth, and of course, relationship. And so this will all work out in the end. But to create the 30-year disruption of divorce goal, to make sure all of our kids don't have the same crappy examples that we're seeing today, MorrowMarriage.com, and let's go get your life.